This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. I hope you all are having a very good kickstart morning. So we'll start our session today. Just I'm trying to pull out my slides, and then I'll start sharing my session. Okay. Okay. Hope you are all seeing my screen, right? Okay. Before moving on to the session, so anyone should I address anyone's queries or something? So, if you are new to this session, I am Manasa, the trainer of software testing. I'll help you learn this testing, manual testing course throughout the journey. And we'll also be learning about SQL and also API testing. In API testing, we'll have a couple of tools we'll be learning about. So we'll go learn each and every one of them. So first 20 days of the training is for manual testing, and the next 10 days I'll divide it like 5 days into SQL, 5 days into API testing, depending upon the syllabus how we cover it in our daily basis. Okay, all right. Okay, so moving on to the topic. So what all did we learn yesterday? We learned about what is ISTQB, how it's structured, and what is a basic level course that we are going to learn about. So foundation level certified tester is the one which we are actually going through all those things, and the foundation level has these many chapters: chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 chapters together, and we will cover all these chapters one by one. All the testing, all the material that I give is only related to ISTQB, but I just simplified it to understand to our terminology. So if you directly go and dig and deep dive and start learning this ISTQB textbook, right, it will be little confusing as it has a larger terms that they use. So when you learn the base of the what exactly the concept of it, then even if you learn a very great terminology in English, it will be easy for you to understand the concept. Okay. And we also learned how the exam pattern will be. So exam pattern will be like 40 questions each, and you have to answer at least 60% of your questions. Okay. And also we also learned about what is software development cycle, how an idea starts, and how the requirements start gathering the requirements, and how we start designing the product, and how the development goes, and where we exactly sit in testing. So what is the role of testing we learned, and after testing what happens. Deployment happens. After deployment, what is the next thing that happens? That is maintenance. Okay. So this is called a software development life cycle. As development has one life cycle, similarly testing also has one life cycle. Okay. So we'll learn what we will do in software testing life cycle. Okay. Okay, so we also learned the basic definition of testing. So what exactly is a testing, and what will be benefited when we do testing, and what are the different methods we improve qualities, like risk management happens, and we improve by testing we improve the quality, and we also check if it is meeting the requirements or not. All these things are possible when you do a proper testing. Okay. So this is a general concept of testing. So this is a general concept of testing. So whereas when you come, you have software testing, as you are going into the software industry, you have to understand what is software testing, right? So before learning what is a software testing, you have to understand the concept of what is a software. A software is nothing but a collection of computer programs that helps us to perform a task. Suppose you want to scroll Instagram. What is the software that will help us to scroll Instagram? That is Instagram software that is installed in your mobile device. So how do you operate your mobile device? With the help of some software. What is that software called as? System software or operating system. So an operating system should be installed in your mobile. Only then you can operate the particular software which you want to scroll off. So that is called a system software. Suppose if there is any issue that comes up, you go to the customer representative and you say, okay, this is not working, can you help us? So what he does, he compiles or he debugs what is the issue with some special softwares he has in your machine. So with that is called as program software. Program softwares are nothing but compilers or debuggers. And what is the last one? That is application software. You are accessing what? An Instagram application, okay, with the help of your operating system that is installed in your mobile system. So that is called as application software. So application software might be web apps or mobile apps, everything, whatever you do in your day-to-day life. As technology has developed, we got so many apps. For each and everything, we have different apps. So those apps are called application. Those apps, that software is called application software, and those examples of application software are web apps and mobile apps. Okay. This is just a quick recap that we are doing, okay? And what before, as we understood the terminology of testing, we should also understand the terminology of what is quality. So quality is the one big thing that you have to understand when you are doing a testing, okay? Because you have to give a quality product. So the degree to which a component or a system meets the specific requirements and expectations is called a quality, okay? So I have my own expectations of how a TV should work, okay? So it has to act according to it. Otherwise, what I say, oh, this TV is not working, this is a defective piece. So that is called so that is how I test the degree of the quality, okay? It is measured in terms of defects. So if I'm switching on the TV and using with a remote control, I'm just accessing all the channels, everything is working fine, then I say, okay, this is a quality product. If I find any small defect also, then what I say, oh, this is not working as expected. So there are lot of defects in the system, whatever I see. So that is how I tell the quality of the product. So how are you explaining, how are you measuring it in terms of defects that you found? Okay. So basically, before going into anything, we have to understand three different concepts in testing. Okay. The one is error, other one is defect, the third one is a failure. Okay. So error will become a defect, and defect in terms is a failure. Okay. So error might be a mistake. Error can be called as a mistake. Defect can also be called as a bug, and failure can also be called as a risk. Okay. So what is error? A human action that produces an incorrect result. So yesterday we have seen, we got one requirement. What was the requirement? To make a television. But what was the end product? It was a fridge. So what was that? Why it was a fridge? Because there was an error in understanding the requirement. So that is called a human action that produces an incorrect result. So he misunderstood that it should be a TV. So he produced a fridge. Okay. So then what happened? So it went to the client. So what did the client say? Client said a flaw. There is a flaw in the component in the system that it is actually trying. It is actually failing to perform the required action. What was the TV supposed to do? It was supposed to display all the channels, and when we use a remote control, it has to act according to it. But it is not happening. It is rather freezing my things whichever I put into in the fridge. Okay, it's totally a different. So there is a component change in this happening. Okay, and what happens? So it is totally a deviation of the component. So a TV is totally different from fridge, right? So that there is a total deviation of the requirement. So that is called as a failure. When I give that particular fridge to the client saying that this is what you have asked, this is what I have developed, then says, okay, this is totally this is not what I expected. Okay, so that is called failure. These are very, very important for you to understand. One question will come from this concept into ISTQB. Okay, and we saw the causes of defects. It might be time pressure, deadline, and time. And we also learned about manual testing and automation testing. Okay, so before moving to this, we have to learn about 7 testing principles. So you have to clearly understand what are the different testing principles. Only then you can start the mindset behaving like a tester. Okay, so these are the standards that ISTQB has told every tester, whoever is trying to test any component or anything, he has to be aware of the 7 testing principles. That is the reason if you say or if you project your profile in any of the IT, first question they ask about is, are you an ISTQB certified? Because they know all the principles, all the different techniques, everything is embedded in ISTQB principles. So if you say you are an ISTQB certified, then they will have an opinion that yes, this person knows the basis of testing. So that is the reason they ask you about ISTQB certification. So first we will know what are the 7 principles, and then we'll learn each and everything in detail. Okay. The first principle says that testing shows presence of defects. And principle 2 is exhaustive testing is impossible. Principle 3 is early testing. Principle 4 is defect clustering. Principle 5 is pesticide paradox. Principle 6, testing is context dependent. And principle 7 is absence of error fallacy. So these are the 7 main very important principles that every tester has to keep in mind while doing a testing. Okay. So, yes, now we'll learn each and everything. Okay. So, what is the first principle? Testing shows presence of defects. Yes. So, whenever in the last example, whatever we have done, what are we doing? We are testing the product. So, he had made a television. The requirement was television, and we had given a fridge. So, if a testing was done in the starting stages only, so what would have happened? I would have clearly read the requirements while I'm testing it, and I will tell, okay, developer, so this is what was the requirement the client was asking, but we are actually gathering different requirements for that. Okay, so it has to have a remote control, but my fridge has a door and a box, some cooling box. Okay, so there is a deviation in the requirement. So better you reread the requirements and again start developing the product. So what happened? So there only we stopped giving a wrong product, right? So there only we stopped saying that okay, the requirement what you understood is different from the requirement. Okay, so that is called as, so we are, what is happening, we are doing a testing and we are showing the presence of defects. Okay, so even if you have a mobile app, okay, when you keep on giving the, different inputs, so suppose here there is a username and password and login field. Okay, so what can you do? You can give a proper username, proper password, and can log in, and you can give an improper username, improper password, and login. Okay, so what will happen when you click negative thing, negative information like not a username and not a password? It will throw an error, right? So similarly, uh, similarly, what happens is you have to, yeah. So while doing different types of scenarios, so what happens? So you will test the product. Okay, you will test that particular application. So when you're testing the application, you can say when you give an improper username and improper password, it should rather give a error message, but it is not giving an error message, it is logging in. So then that is an issue, right? So it should not happen. So in that scenario also, you are showing the presence of defects. Okay, that is called principle 1. And principle 2, exhaustive testing is impossible. So it says that you can never ever test a product completely. Okay, so in the same scenario, right? So here the username, they give a condition like username is should have multiple characters, and all characters, the length of this character is more than 5 characters. Okay, so till what extent you can test that particular username field? You can only test randomly with random different fields. Okay, by you put less than 9, you put greater than 9, or you might put some 100 characters also. More than 100 you cannot. So you cannot keep going on inputting all like infinity number of values into the username and check for all the scenarios, right? So that is what you can never ever test a product completely. Rather than you can try to test the product with different types of scenarios. So suppose they say less than greater than 10 characters. Obviously, greater than 10 characters in the sense you put some 100 characters, some minus 10, less than 10 characters, and check whether that is working properly or not. Okay. So this kind of mindset you have to start building when you are going for a testing profession. Okay. So, and as an ideal tester, we should never say the testing is finished. We should rather say the testing is stopped. So in future, what happens is you are in a project and your project manager will come up and say, okay, so for that particular functionality, did we complete the testing? So did we finish the testing? He'll ask. Then you have to say, no, 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 testing cannot be finished, but we rather stop the testing with doing multiple scenarios. So that is the correct answer. You can say to your project manager. Okay, understood the second terminology? Exhaustive testing is impossible. And the third principle is early testing. So in this example, last example, where the requirement was TV, but we gave a fridge. So when we are doing an early testing, so when we are doing a testing at the requirement stages only. So what is happening in the requirement stages only when we are doing it? So we are trying to stop that error to be a defect and to be a failure. Okay, so we are stopping it at a very early stage, saying that whatever we are seeing is different from what we are expecting. So early testing is very important for any product or any UI or any application that you are testing. So it will help us to stop the error to become a defect and a failure. Okay, so that is the advantage of doing early testing. And the third principle, what is the third? Third principle is early testing. So here we'll see few of the points. Early testing are same. Example of building a product. So that is what, when we are building a product, so we rather stop that in the requirement stage only to become a defect rather than failure. Okay. And the fourth principle is defect clustering. So in any web or mobile applications, there might be an area where the faults or defects are found. Okay. So there is one total navigation from login page and selecting some books page. Okay. Some books in the next page. So this is a total functionality that I have to test for this particular sprint. Okay. So in that what happens is, so what I do is I will divide the total what I say, the total navigation into 80 to 20%. So where 80% of all the functionalities are working fine, whereas the 20% I see a lot number of defects that I can see. Okay. Okay, wait, let me show with an example. Okay, so this is one site where I have, okay, so what I have to do, I just log into the application and I click on login. I have my credentials on, and then when I click on books option, so here I see a lot of defects. So when I select for this name A to Z, might be my, my books are not coming in the A to Z fashion. When I say display to 12, display to 12, and there it's not displaying more than 12 I mean 12 total 12 pages, so only rather giving me like 5 8 6 things. Okay, when I see list, it is not displaying in this list. So I see only a lot of defects only in this particular page. So I say this is a defect clustering page. So where I have to concentrate more, I have to give my attention more by writing more scenarios on this particular page, as I have seen lot number of issues in this page. Okay, so that is called defect clustering. Uh, so in any mobile application, there might be an area where the faults or defects are found. So this is the area where I found more number of faults. So what I do, I take a special attention, I take a special this thing, and I write more number of scenarios in this particular page. And I keep on testing this page so that until and unless this defects count will go at least to minimum number of defects, okay, or no defects, okay. And the fifth point is pesticide paradox. So what is pesticide paradox? So suppose I am a farmer, okay. So I'm a farmer, and what I can say is I keep on putting a same kind of what I say urea or something to the plant for the same mosquitoes or same bugs that are coming up in my farm. Okay, what happens? So for one day that bugs will die. For second day it will slowly it will start resisting to it. Okay, and the third day it will totally like get used to that particular I mean whatever urea I'm putting, it get used to it and it will grow more and more. And finally what happens is, even when you put that particular urea, you cannot see any bugs in that particular place, because it got habituated to that particular kind of urea that I'm putting. So if I change the medicine to something else, what happens? Then you might see a change. Okay. So that is called pesticide paradox. So even in India, we have all outs, right? All outs. So where we plug it into our switchboard and just switch it on, and we feel that mosquitoes are dying. Okay. So actually what is happening these days, the mosquitoes got immune to that all out, and even if you put the all out nowadays, it will not, you see mosquitoes just roaming in front of the all out only. Why? Because it is the same medicine that are putting you're putting from years together. So now mosquitoes don't care about that all out that you are putting. Rather than if you change that medicine, maybe it will start working and your mosquitoes will change. So that is called as pesticide paradox. So in testing, what say, if you keep on testing with the same scenario again and again and again, you might not get a proper result, or you might not get you might not see a defect in that particular UI. Okay, what you have to do, rather you have to put some effort to write different number of scenarios. Okay, so in this example, so I say log out. In this example, we just talk about only login page. Okay. So in this example, what happens if I simply click on login button and simply give the proper credentials like proper username and proper password and click on login. I keep on logging into the page. Okay, I no more test for the error messages that are coming. So rather than what my mindset should be, rather than giving a proper email ID, I might make it little tricky and change some characters in my email and just click on login. Then what should I do? I should see a deviation from the proper thing that is happening. Okay, so only then you can find whatever that developer has developed is correct or not. Okay, so that is how the mindset should be. So that is called a pesticide paradox. So you should not only keep on repeating with the same condition, rather than you have to start testing with different scenarios and different examples and different types of test data that you can use it here. Okay, so that is called pesticide paradox. Okay, and what is the sixth principle? Testing is context dependent. So testing will depend on what product you work. And so suppose here I'm working on a demo web shop URL. Okay, so this URL is nothing but, So this URL will nothing but what happens, it only helps me to shop some books, some computers, some electronics, apparels and anything. So if I have to buy some milk packet or daily grocery, I cannot come here and I cannot buy it here. Yeah. So whatever you are doing is whatever you are working. So context dependent is this web shop is totally only for books, computers, electronics. It's not for grocery. So if I have to go for grocery, I have to go for big basket or something, or Blinkit or Swiggy or something like that. Only there I can get a proper grocery that can be delivered. Okay. So that is what. So even only when you're context dependent, you can start testing. So if I'm suppose if I'm testing this book's demo web shop and I'm writing a scenario for getting a milk packet or doing some calculation on my web UI, it will not happen, right? So you have to be context dependent. So whatever, suppose you are put it into a banking project, what you have to do is you have to start analyzing, okay, what are the different banking applications the banking department will do. Suppose it is mobile banking, everyone nowadays will have a mobile banking app in your mobile, and you keep on transacting with the amount. So you send some money, you receive some money, all those things you can just get a picture on your mobile app, right? Correct or wrong? So that is so when you are doing a banking application and you write a scenario for getting a books link, you cannot get it, right? So you have to be context dependent on what are you testing. So you have to make sure that whatever is testing, you have a prior knowledge about what you are doing. Okay. So that is called context dependent. And seventh principle is absence of error fallacy. Absence of error fallacy is nothing but there is no bug free product. Okay. So whatever you see in your daily life also, when you go to the vegetable market also, a farmer cannot grow 100% of organic vegetable, where all the crop, whatever he is growing, 100% crop is not will not be like eligible for us to cook, right? There might be some thing, it might grow big, it might grow small, it might be like wasted, or it might be throated. So like that, it might be different products that come up. So you cannot say that whatever crop that I have grown for this particular 6 months is 100% right. No, it cannot happen. There will be some or the other bugs that will be present in your system, but how your mindset should be, so that you will decrease the number of defects that you are giving a defect. So now if you think, okay, absence of error fallacy is there, I am sure that there will be some or the other bugs, so that you stop testing this application. No, you should not be in that mindset. Even if you know that there will be one or the other bugs that you test, you have to make sure that whatever you test is proper, and you try to test with maximum number of scenarios, so you get down the defect count to zero. Even now, if you go and open HDFC Bank mobile banking or SBI Bank mobile banking, what happens? Sometimes it crashes because a large number of users same time. Okay, might be that day some fund has come up. You have to buy the mutual fund. You have to go and buy that fund, and that is a last day for you to buy. So that day, all like you don't expect that much of crowd logging into your system. So that day it might be a scenario that the HDFC Bank app might crash, right? So there, what you have to do, what they will do, okay, this today is crashing, so immediately bank people will send out a message saying that there is a huge volume of resources that you are using back. You might face some difficulty. Please, sorry, we regret the inconvenience and we are working back on it. So that doesn't mean anyways it will crash like 10th, or if more than these people will log in, I should not test this product. No, that is not the scenario. Even if you know that there will be some errors or bugs that will be coming up, you have to make sure that you try all different possibilities to test that product is working as per our requirement. Okay, understood? Seven testing principles. Or should I explain it again?
No, it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
Understood.
So we have learned different 7 testing principles. Okay. So we'll understand what is psychology of testing. So basing on the 7 testing principles, now we'll go understand what is the psychology of a tester should be. So how a mindset should be of any testing engineer so that he can test the product nicely and give a less error free product, okay, less bug free product, okay. So the comparison between mindset of a tester and a developer. So developer, how the developer will think, he will think, okay, I have to build this product and I have to put all the blocks one by one, one by one, and then this building will come up, and after I build a product I can go and test it. How a mindset of tester should be, always a tester mindset should be like, how can I break this particular product, how can I break this product into pieces so that developer again rebuild it and give us a bug free product. So developer has to develop it such a way that even I go and try to break that product, it should not break it, okay, it should not break. So if he is building a building with different bricks and I go and I just snap it with my hammer, if it immediately falls, then I say, okay, there are so many bugs in this, like the cement is not put proper, the bricks are not in a proper condition. So all these things I will keep on telling to the developer. So developer will have a different type of mindset, tester will have a different type of mindset. Always the tester mindset should be, how should I break this product, what are the different ways I can break this product. It might be a hammer first time, okay. So second time developer again comes it. Now you go and test it. Again, if I go and put it on a hammer, it might work well, okay. So in the next time, what you have to do, you should take a very big, another big rock or something, and you have to try it to break the product. Even then, if it is not breaking, then you can say, okay, this is not breaking. This is a, I mean, now it is little stable to whatever I am testing. So that is how a mindset of a developer and mindset of a tester should be. Okay. And what is the second thing? Existing balance between self-testing and independence testing. Okay. So whenever a developer develops a particular product, he will also test it in his perspective. Okay, I test a product in my perspective, you test your product in your perspective, and other one will test in other perspective. So this independent testing might be different from group testing or self testing, okay. So if we are working in a group, okay, we keep all our views and opinions and we keep starting writing a different sides, I mean, sets of scenarios, okay. If you see this example like demo web shop, my mindset will be only a email id and password, a proper email id, an improper email id, improper password, okay. So whereas when I come and talk to you, you might say, okay, why not try with an empty email id and a proper password, what is the error message, did you try testing that scenario? Then I might be in a situation, oh, this is the other scenario that I can try testing. So when I keep on discussing this kind of scenarios, I get more and more ideas, rather than if I simply test my testing and I just pass it on to a maintenance team. They say when it is deployed to the development environment, so when I deploy it to the customer, what say, okay, there are lots of issues, did your testing team do a proper testing or not, okay. So independent testing is always not good. So rather than doing a self-testing or independent testing, you rather go for a group testing or the team testing. So you have to be in that motive, okay. And importance of healthy communication between tester and developer while reporting feedbacks and defects, okay. So when I'm testing this, we'll go back to that example where we are trying to building a building, okay. So first time when I went and just hit with with a small hammer, the total bricks fell down, and how should I communicate it to the developer? I should not say, hey boss, this is how your development code is. This is how you do a development code. If I start pointing out, what happens? It might feel little bad for him, saying that he might take it too personally, and he might feel, okay, am I not a good developer, am I not doing it? So it should not hurt the feelings of other developer or some other team, that whenever you are trying to express your defect, it should be in a proper communication. You have to say, yes, whatever you have developed is correct, but whatever I am trying to test, it is not acting as per my testing strategy. Okay, can you please go and revisit your development code and check whether did you handle this particular condition? What is the condition? If I'm hitting with an hammer, it should not fall down. It should resist to that hammer. Hammer, this thing, hammer break or something. Okay, so then what happens? Developer will happily go and check, okay, I did not include this condition, maybe I will try to include this condition, thank you for telling. So this is how a proper communication should be. You should not, it should not be self-criticizing, it should not hurt other feeling. So whenever you don't do a proper communication as a tester, it will lead to a lot of discrepancy in the team only. So you have to make sure that whatever you are testing, whatever you are communicating, either to a development team or to a project team, it has to be in a proper manner. Okay, so healthy communication is very, very important, either for a tester or for a developer. But as we are seeing only the testing perspective, we only talk about testing. Okay, and so here we have to understand two definitions. Okay, what is the first definition? It is nothing but error guessing. So what is error guessing? Error guessing is a test design technique where the experience of a tester is used to anticipate what defects might be present in the system or a component as a result of error made and capable enough to expose them. So I might guess an error. What is an error? Here, when I put an empty email ID and proper password, it has to throw an error. What error I might not know, but I might have to understand and analyze that error guessing technique, saying that okay, this might happen, this might have to come up with an error. Okay, so that is called error guessing technique. And one more important definition for ISTQB perspective, you have to understand. So independent testing. So separation of responsibilities which encourages the accomplishment of objective testing. Independence testing is, so there might be different project teams. So I will tell you an example, real-time example, what happens in a project. Okay. So there might be few projects where I might be developing. Suppose XYZ company is developing, and some Accenture is only testing that particular project. Okay, so here whatever I develop the code, what happens? That testing users perspective might be totally different. Accenture's testing team might be totally different. They might have independent testing team, and they might test it according to their perspective. Rather than XYZ company, which is developing my code, I have a separate testing team. I test my product and send it to Accenture team. What happens is there might be less number of defects that Accenture team might come up with. Okay, so that is why whoever will develop it is good strategy that all the team should have an independent testing team where they have that a separate team where they take the responsibilities and encourage the take the responsibilities of testing the product to see a less bug free product. Okay, so that is called independence of testing. Okay, so what makes you a good tester, right? There should be some values and some principles to make you a good tester. Okay, so what first thing what you have to understand is you have to know the technology. So when you are putting in a banking project, what you have to do is you have to understand what is banking and what kind of banking project that particular company is taking up, and in which functionality you might be putting on. So when you are suppose when your interview is happening, they might ask you, do you have any questions? At that point of time, you should not say I don't have any questions. Rather than you can ask, as you then you start behaving as a good tester. At the starting stages only you start behaving as a good tester, then it might be a additional bonus point for the interviewer. Maybe he might not be a strong person at functionalities and concepts, but he has the knowledge of how to be a good tester. Maybe he can be a good tester in your project, so that might add an additional bonus to you and he might hire you. Okay, so you have to put it in your mind. So what makes you a good tester? So you have to know the technology. So at that point interview you can say, so they say, suppose automobiles and industry, say my project is based on automobiles and industry, they'll give you an introduction. At the end, what can you say? What kind of automobiles are you using? Is it a BMW product, or is it a Volkswagen project, or something else? So you can ask them. So if at all they say, yeah, it's a BMW, so is our project taking up only cars, or cars technology, or it is also taking up some bikes technology also? So this kind of questions will impress the interviewer, saying that okay, he's more interested in knowing the technology. So once you get all the information, you don't simply sit. Okay, you might get a offer letter afterwards, but you might, so once you get an offer letter, you don't simply sit. Whatever answers you get from the interviewer, make it a point, go dig deep, right? Learn the technology, understand what they are doing. So before going to a project, if you understand the technology, after you go inside it, it will be very easy for you. It will be very easy for you to go and start writing different scenarios, right? Different test cases. So it will help us in your starting of your testing journey. So that is how it makes you a good tester. Okay, and perfectionist and realist. You should be realist more than perfectionist, what I say. Okay, so in real time scenario, will it really happen? Should I include this scenario, or I can exclude this scenario? So this is how you have to think. Your perspective, your total thinking perspective should start changing. Okay, and tactful, diplomatic, and persuasive. So you have to be tactful enough to how can I say? You have to be tactful enough to hold out all the different opinions that are coming up in your team. So your developer might say, "Oh, your testing team is not at all good, man. So they don't understand how to test a product also." So you should immediately, you should not going into an anger zone and you start selling that, oh, you are not a good developer. No, you should be tactful enough to give an answer to them, saying that okay, boss, this is not what is happening. Might be we might miss few scenarios, but we have done proper level of testing. So this kind of discussion, this kind of tactfulness should be there when you are going as a good tester. Okay, and you should be an explorer. So if I am given chance to test this particular scenario, I should just not keep on putting on login. So this is the only functionality that your developer is developing. But previously they have already developed register and shopping cart, wish list, everything. Now they have introduced only login. So I simply go and click on login, and I just keep on navigating in the login. Doesn't make a sense. Okay, you should be an explorer. You should try to click on logout. Okay, and you should click on register. You should see what is happening here. So if I put a female, if I click on register, so this is what is happening. And if I do this, if I do that, what is happening? So such kind of exploration you have to do whenever you are given a UI or a application with your hand. Okay, it's not like you only do one total flow and then you don't do other flow. Okay, so you have explore everything. Whatever you get, you have to explore in and out of the product. Okay, and you have to troubleshoot. So troubleshoot is one best thing that you have to do before raising a bug or a defect. Okay, so if I say logging is not happening, so first question what developer will is what possibilities, what are the different ways that you do, but that you tried doing testing. Okay, it might, and then you have to say, okay, these are the different ways that I've tried logging in, still I'm not able to get it. So it's not like you only test on Chrome browser. You have to go, you have to test in this browser, other browsers also, like Edge, Firefox, Mozilla, everything. Then you can say developer, okay, so I have tried all the possibilities, like these are the different possibilities that I've tried, but still I'm not able to log in. So this is for sure bug. So this kind of attitude should be there when you are trying to test it. Okay, and you have to do a troubleshoot. Okay, so suppose if you are not getting internet on your machine, you cannot simply go and tell your IT testing that I'm not getting this Wi-Fi access. So you should do different troubleshooting. Okay, so you try first what is a one best thing all the IT engineers will do. They just restart the machine. So they feel that restarting a machine will solve all the problems, and then that is a one troubleshoot they will do. Other troubleshoot, they might switch on the Wi-Fi and again try to reconnect it. All those troubleshooting things you have to do. Similarly, when you are doing UI testing, you have to do all the troubleshooting, like not only in one browser, you are doing in double browsers, you are trying with all the negative positive scenarios, all this kind of thing, and then you go to the development team saying that, so these are all the possibilities that I have done, and other thing is organized. You have to be very organized. So so that no one will come back and say that whatever you have raised is not proper. So organize it in the sense, whenever you are trying to raise a bug or a defect, right? So what you can do is you can have a proper documentation. You can open a WordPad. Okay. So you open a WordPad. Oh God. Why is it slow? Okay. So I open a WordPad. First, I give, suppose I'm doing a defect. Okay. So I do some defect. I write the defect name. I write what are the steps that I followed to do the troubleshoot, and where is it occurring? Where is it occurring? Why is it occurring? And how it is occurring. So all these times, when you document it, when developer comes back, you can simply open this and you can say, okay, these are the different scenarios that I've come up. Okay, and see this thing. I'll also show one more thing. Okay, organized. So this is another way of organize. So I keep on putting all the dates here, so that in future if someone comes back and tells when this topic is done, what is the topic is done. So someone say, okay, this topic is not done. I'll simply say, okay, boss, you can go to the recording of this particular time and you can check this whether this recording is completed or not. Okay. So that kind of if you have that kind of documentation, no one will ever come back and start pointing you. So this is very important for you to be organized, not only in defecting, everything whatever you do. Uh, uh, suppose you are doing a testing for Tosca or some other tool. So what I suggest is you put a folder for that. Okay, you put up a folder for that and put all the documents into it and be organized. Like you put subfolders for each and every functionality, whatever doing, all the documents which you get, it might be BRD document, UFRD document, whatever documents, put a folder with that for particular name, and then um, put all the documents into it, and then test cases, everything. So in future what happens when you go try to open it, you will find everything in one place. Okay, and defects are very valuable. So that is where your quality of testing will be checked. Okay, so when they come back and say what is a defect and all, when you show all these defect documents and all, they will say, okay, this is a very good documentation. With the help of this only, we understood what are the different things that are. So defects are very, very valuable. Don't ever neglect even a one single discrepancy that you are seeing. Okay, so you might not raise it as a defect every time. You can always show it as an observation. Okay, you can, whenever a team meeting is happening, you can say, okay, this is a little deviation that I'm seeing in my application. Maybe it might not be a defect. I want to discuss before I raise it as a defect. So this kind of communication will always help you in raising a defect and showing up your testing quality. Okay. Okay, then I did a lots of talking today. I want to take rest. So now you'll get a couple of questions here. You have to answer them and you have to tell what is the answer. So we will understand how we can include more communication between us. Okay. So the first question is, who would usually perform debugging activities? Can anyone answer this?
Testers.
Okay. Any more answers, please? Okay. Okay, all right. So we'll see the second question. What is the purpose of exit criteria?
To
Exit criteria is
determine
nothing.
whether a test has passed.
Yeah. So exit criteria is nothing but, I told you, right, we have to know where to stop testing. So there will be some exit criteria for you to determine. So till there, you can stop the testing. So this exit criteria we will learn in future chapters more. So for now, just try to understand what is exit criteria. Okay. So what is the purpose of exit criteria? To define a test has completed or not. Okay. So which is not a testing principle. So if you see all those things, what do you feel is not a testing principle?
Pesticide paradigm.
Okay. So now we will see the answers. So who would usually perform the debugging activities? Only the developers will do the debugging activities. Tester will not do the debugging activities because developer will have the code access. If you see a defect and if you show it to the developer, what he does is he go and he checks out his code whether it is handling that uh, particular issue or not. Okay, so that is the task of our developers. Okay, and what is the purpose of exit criteria? To identify when the software system should be retired. Okay, so when it has to be retired is what is the purpose of exit criteria. And what is not a testing principle? We say exhaustive testing is impossible. You cannot keep on testing for 10,000 scenarios all the time, right? So exhaustive testing is not a testing principle. So but we have to understand that it is an exit testing principle, but that is not possible. Okay. Okay, so we did not understand. So ignore this test process, fundamental test process. We'll understand this STLC cycle in the tomorrow's class. Okay, so we'll go to the next question. According to ISTQB, the word bug is a synonym with which word? Bug is
Defect.
also called as.
Defect.
Okay, all right. Which is the most important to promote and maintain relationship between testers and the developers? First option is promoting better quality software whenever possible, understanding what managers value about testing, explaining test results in neutral fashion, and identifying potential customer workarounds for the bugs. So, what do you think is the correct option?
Explaining test results in a neutral fashion.
Correct, correct. Both answers are correct. Okay. So bug can also be called as a defect, and explaining the results in a neutral fashion will help us to maintain the harmony between developers and the testers. Okay, so this and all we did not do. Test process we did not do, so we'll do in the next class. Okay. What does independence in testing mean? Testers do not communicate with developers or someone other than developers designing the test, or each testers work independently for all the testers, or testing being planned independently from the rest of the project. So what can you say? What is the correct option for this? Just guess, no problem. Even if it is wrong, it's no problem.
Testing being planned independently from rest of the project.
No, someone other than developers designing the test. So if I develop my code and if I test my product, I can say, okay, this is a very small issue. I can ignore it. Okay. So that kind of attitude might be there. Okay. So that is the reason we always encourage to have a separate testing team where that it will help to define the quality of the product that is developed. Okay. So that is called as someone other than developer should design the test cases, not that developer will develop the test and he only tests it. No, it should not happen. So this is called independence testing. Okay, all right, with this we'll complete the chapter 1. So tomorrow we'll move on to the chapter 2. So if you feel it is little fast, or if you feel it is little slow, please let me know so that I can control my space or the speed. Or if you are okay with my speed, if you want to increase also, let me know. I can increase my call. So we all work together and we'll all learn together. Okay. So I would really appreciate if you have. This kind of feedbacks, it will help me to improve my quality of the training also, so that you can get more information from me. Okay.
Yeah, the speed is okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
I want to go in this space, not much faster.
Yeah, I would also prefer to go in this space because I want you to understand the topics very clearly, so that it will be easy for you. So once you are deployed in the testing, it will be easy for you to go ahead. Okay.
So at the end of the session, do we do like real time testing? Like, do you teach the
Yeah.
real
So
time?
first of all, yeah, we will do the real time testing. I'll give you scenarios. So first, like 4 to 5 classes, right? I'll give only the concepts. Okay. So once you get the concept, then simultaneously we'll start doing all the. I'll give you the scenarios, different scenarios to start writing. So once you start writing them, we will discuss in the class in the last 10 minutes. Okay. That is how where we start the discussion of the real time project. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess Vishal, you are trying to tell something, but your voice is not audible. You can put your query in the chat.
रिकॉर्डिंग आज मिलेगी ना मैडम रिकॉर्डिंग
Your voice is very too low, Vishal.
यस मैम हेलो
Yeah. Now it is better.
आज की रिकॉर्डिंग मिलेगी ना मैम
Yeah. You'll get the recording in that group. They'll post the recording.
मैम ये ड्यूरेशन कितना होगा अपने कोर्स का कितने दिन चलेगा ये
Yeah,
कोर्स
20 days of manual testing, 5 days of API testing, and 5 days of SQL basics. Total 30
नहीं पूरा
days.
बताइए पूरा पूरा कितने का है
Sorry?
टू में 2 मंथ्स कितने दिन पूरा कितने दिन
2 months
चलेगा ऐसा
नहीं,
बोल रहा
एक मंथ,
प्रोग्राम
30 days का है, 30 days का ट्रेनिंग है. 30 days में
अच्छा
20 दिन का तो मैनुअल टेस्टिंग का होगा, 5 दिन का एपीआई टेस्टिंग का होगा, और
अच्छा
5 दिन पे एसक्यूएल बेसिक्स डेटाबेस टेस्टिंग के लिए वो यूज होता है, एसक्यूएल बेसिक्स, सो वो होता है.
इतने दिनों कम दिनों में मैडम ये पूरा कवर हो जाएगा जॉब रेडी हो जाएंगे यहाँ पर
Yeah, you will get ready for the job.
ओके मैम
It might be like plus or minus 5 days. Okay, don't worry about that. For now we are targeting for 30 days. Even if it is if you want like 2 or 3 more sessions more, we can do it. That is not a problem. But till now, whatever we have handled all the batches only for 30 days. Okay, so
मैम
it is
इंटरव्यू
not
में
a
ये
big.
आप जो पढ़ाएंगे उसमें से ही आएगा ना सब कुछ?
Yeah. Whatever we are teaching here, when you
यस.
attend the session, right? I'll be also in between. I'll be telling this might be a interview question. This might be an ISTQB question. Okay, so those kind of suggestions and interactions will also happen. Okay, and in the end, you will also have one mock interview that I will take up. Uh, and mock interview, and also I will check your CV also. Okay, the CV or the resume that you have. Okay, so with that, we can I can help you out how you have to modify your resume. So what projects you can include in your resume, and if you have any prior experience, I can. I mean, not an IT experience, it might be a support or something. So if you have that kind of experience, I can guide you how can you trick your resume, showing that all the experience into the testing. So all those things you will get it from me, but at the end of the session, not in the starting. एंड बोले तो पूरा सिलेबस होने के बाद लास्ट में आपको सब मिल गया. Okay, understood, all right.
ओके.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, Raja, tomorrow we'll get one more I'll tell you one more example. Okay, the example in automation testing comparison between tester and developer. So that example is not for automation testing, and it's a test. Oh, another example in automation testing. Okay. So you want to know about different automation tools, Raja? What exactly is your query?
मैम
Okay,
एक
so
बार
tomorrow we'll
ये
discuss.
पूरा सिलेबस क्या क्या कवर होगा वो आप व्हाट्सएप कर सकती क्या? मेल पर ना व्हाट्सएप कर सकती है मैम?
Sorry, Vishal, did not get your point.
सिलेबस आप भेज सकते हैं व्हाट्सएप पर जितना कवर
Syllabus
करेगा ये?
you can refer it in the in that site, right? We have our site Isha Learning Solutions, or else you can connect with my team. You are in the WhatsApp group, right?
ओके ओके.
Yeah, in that WhatsApp group, you can connect with my team, Anita. You can ask her your queries about it. She will give you all
आई
the
एम.
details.
यस यस. व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप पर होगी ये जो लिंक भेजी उसी पर ना मैडम?
हाँ, लिंक भेज दिया ना
लिंक.
उसी ग्रुप पे. You can ask Anita. Anita will be our coordinator. So you can ask her whatever queries you are there. Okay. Okay, noted, Raja. These things we'll discuss in tomorrow's session. In the first 10 minutes, we'll discuss this previous sessions, right? So there we will understand different automation tools, and also we'll understand the how is a testing mind should be, and how a developer perspective should be. Okay. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Then today I'm closing the session. Have a nice day. Tomorrow we'll talk it. Okay.
Okay, thanks so much. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Yeah, thank you so much. You too. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good day.